We are back, and it's time for us to begin the second hour, and that is the topic concerning loss and grief. I don't know about you, but it's either we have gone through it or we will go through it at some point, because in this life, this is not our final destination. So that means that there will come moments when we will have to face the reality of grief and loss, and that is why we brought this wonderful lady who is going to really help us in this area, and not just helping us, but also sharing her life with us so that we may get to know her more and also understand that in everything that she's telling us, she's speaking from total experience. So I will give my beautiful guest an opportunity to introduce herself, and then we will get into the conversation. But just to remind us, we are live on YouTube, and that means you can share that link on Hope TV Kenya. And also, if you have any questions, anything you would love to ask us today, please, our WhatsApp line is open, 0708 22323. That's the WhatsApp numbers, and you can also see it on your screen. So without much further ado, allow me to welcome my amazing guest, Priscilla. Hi.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
It's good. We were just saying today that our colors are sort of blending,
I'm telling you.
Kuna vienye tu
Kuna
yani.
vile. We were in spirit.
We were in the spirit
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And we are glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe just to give us a foundation of who Priscilla is, you can maybe let us know.
Wow, thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be here. My name is Priscilla Wangechi, and I am a female.
I like that.
Yeah, Priscilla Wangechi is a mother of two young men. And I was born and raised in Nyeri County in a place called Ihororo. That is Teto constituency.
Oh, so you probably know South Tetu girls.
Oh, yes, I do.
Wow.
I do. But now it is on the other side, on the other side of where I come from.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is the famous Madari Mission Hospital. That is just around there. That is where I come from.
Oh.
And I'm sure some of the people from there are listening because they have been asking me, what time is it that you're going to tune in?
Yeah. South Tetu Girls was actually my high school.
Ah.
So when you said Tetu, I was like,
you can connect.
Rings a bell. Rings a bell.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. And, just tell us what inspired you to pursue this lane of, counseling psychology.
Well, Priscilla, as I said, is in counseling psychology. And before that, my first training, I was a teacher. Oh. But as they say, once a teacher, always a teacher.
Yes.
So in the schools that I was teaching, I used to be in the guidance and counseling team. And I had some little bit of training, that is basic training in counseling. And I felt like I needed the skills. I needed to learn more and to know more of this counseling thing.
Yeah.
But for me, the reason why I went to do counseling, I want to go and help people. Unfortunately, or fortunately, it was for me. It was first to help me. When I got to class, I remember the lecturer asking us, what inspired you to come and do the psychology? And we were there in the class, and people were saying, no, I want to go and help people. I'm this and this. I'm a HR. I'm a this. I'm a pastor. And that is the reason I want to go. But during that time as well, I was coming from somewhere. And I felt like I needed some help. And the only help I needed at that time was only counseling. But then I felt, even if I want to go and seek the services, I felt like I needed more of these, skills, not only for myself, but also for the people around me.
Oh, wow. Just that, coming from a place of serving others, I think it's a really beautiful one. And how did you find the journey, walking through it and seeing the many things that were there to be learned?
Well, the first thing that I learned when I got to the psychology class is that I didn't know myself. That self-awareness was lacking in me. I thought I know myself or I knew myself. Little did I know that when I got into class, I realized that I had a lot of baggages that I was carrying with me.
Yeah.
And as much as I'm born again, I was not able to put them down. I needed more. I'm not saying that there is not that the spiritual help was not there. It was there, but I felt like I needed more. There was still a vacuum, a gap in me
Yeah.
that needed to be filled.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. I think everyone who has done psychology will tell you it's like it just ministered to them
Yeah.
before you even minister to others. So, yeah.
Yeah, we say in psychology, we say
Yeah.
counselors are wounded healers. And you can never pour from an empty cup.
That's true.
So I noted that as much as I was going to do counseling, my cup was very empty. It was very empty. So there is no way I could go out there and feel and help other people and support other people. I needed to fill mine first.
That's beautiful. And I love that you've given us that foundation because I feel like it informs the next conversation that we are going to be having and just creating that base for us to know that God was in the story from the beginning. He knew that there was preparation that was needed for what was about to happen. And now you can open our eyes to the events that happened, even with you losing your husband. What did that mean for you, and how did these even lessons that you picked help you through the process of mourning?
Let me go back a little bit. As I said, I'm coming from a place called Tetu, and during my, when I was still young in secondary school, I used to admire, or rather to pray to God that He will give me a God-fearing man. And God gave me a God-fearing man. I was married at around 20 years.
Wow, very young.
Yeah, very young, and I was very naive. I had my wedding in Eastleigh, PCA, and God blessed us with two handsome boys. We stayed together for a couple of years, and then during that time, of course, each one of us, when we are coming or we are getting married, we all have our stories. My husband had come from a place, and the reason why I said where I come from is because I know there are people who are listening from that area, and they can relate with the story that I'm sharing. Even without getting deeper into the story, my husband had some unresolved wounds that had happened, or rather the trauma that had happened to him around in his 20s, and he never went for counseling. So it was like a build-up of the traumas and all this. And one morning, still when we were married, I was unwell. And so I decided it was important for me to go to the hospital just around our home area. And I went. Little did I know that my title was to change the minute I left that house. And actually, I was just going to the hospital because I never thought that it was a serious thing. So I was just going to the hospital and then come back and do lunch. It was on a Sunday. My children had already gone to church because, and for him, he said that he doesn't feel like going to church. And remember, my husband was a devoted Christian. He loved God. And he used to preach. He was this guy who could, in a matatu, you are seated together and he's leading you to Christ.
Wow.
He would find you on the way and he would just sit with you and preach to you. That was my husband. I mean, the thing that I loved about him is that he used to recite, for him and the scriptures. It was something that he could quote scriptures and he was able to quote them exactly without adding, just the way they were. Even in as much the verse was long, he would just recite it as it is. And that morning, a friend of his or a colleague, they were working together with, he felt like he needed to come to our home. And that is why sometimes I look at it and I say, well, I don't know why it happened that morning that this guy came. He came to the house, and remember I was already out. And then my husband told him, you can wait for Priscilla. And then the guy asked him, why am I waiting for Priscilla? And it is you that I want to talk to. And he said that, no, you just wait outside. He's coming. I mean, she's coming. So after some few minutes, I came back. And then I found the guy outside. Then I'm like, why are you standing outside? He said, no. Mwalimu, my husband was also a teacher. He said, Mwalimu has told me to wait for you. And I found it strange. So after that, we got in, and when we got into the house, we tried. Of course, the bedroom door was locked, and of course, now we had to break because we were trying to call him, and he was not responding. So what we did, we broke the door. Of course, he called another person. Now we were 3 of us, and we had to break the door. And breaking the door, and then the worst had happened. He had died by suicide. And in counseling, we say people don't commit suicide. We say die by suicide. So he had died by suicide. And for me, when sometimes I look back, I tell myself, if I survived that day,
that's hard.
If I survived that day, then I'll survive any other day. Because it was a horrific thing. I mean, it is something that I wouldn't even wish my enemies to see. And then now of course, something like that becomes a police case. We had to call in now the family members, my children. I called them from church, and can imagine now my house now became a crime scene, and it was not a good thing. Can imagine the police were there with guns. I'm like, and you cannot pass here. And of course, the investigation, then we went to, of course, we had to do post-mortem. And now this is where the story began. The story began that moment when people now heard that he died by suicide. And the stories were not very good because human beings, there is a tendency of people reporting things the way they are not supposed to be or the way they are not. And I'm telling you, the story I heard about how I killed him, they were strange. I mean, they were overwhelming, even to me and to my children. It was like the one who had hanged him. I had poisoned him, then I pretended to go to the shop, then again they were saying, you see, even you had a relationship with this teacher. It is a teacher that I don't even know the other name. Others were saying, you guys, you had fought. And I want to say that the years I lived with his husband, he never laid a finger, a hand on me, never at one time. So now the burial preparations, of course, they were not good because there were a lot of issues here and there, of course, with the in-laws. Yeah, but I know there are some who are listening here, and I love my in-laws. They are good. Of course, in the initial stages, there were issues that were not good, of course, because when death happens, there is that issue of shock. And a lot of things happen around that time. Because people grieve differently. And there are people who can say all sorts of things, not because they know. Sometimes when death happens, a lot of things happen. And of course, some also say when they are very much aware of what they are doing, with the purposes of causing harm. But so far, so good. I thank God because His grace has been very, very sufficient. His love has kept us. The far that we've come, I can only say that it has been God, it is God, and it will always be God.
Oh, wow. I'm really sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah.
Because I can't even begin to imagine what that felt like, you know, from the initial scene all the way to everything else that followed. Because even mourning in such an environment is hard.
It's hard.
Because there are so many voices coming at you from different directions.
Yeah.
And I think that helps our viewer to know that everything that we'll be talking about navigating through loss and grief is something you have firsthand experienced, you know. And I believe that that is the only way we get to help others as that wounded healer.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so now let's get now to the foundation of what would you say were the steps that helped you along the way? You know, what are some of the things that you saw work for you in the process, even if not perfectly, but what are those steps that helped you along the way?
Thank you for that. First of all, I would want to pick it up maybe from the moment now we buried my husband. You see, every time death happens, of course, there is that burial preparation. There are so many people that are coming. You know, there are so many messages, there are calls, there are visitors coming. And after the burial now, it is you and your children who go back home. And we went back home, and our home went quiet, completely silent. There were no visitors. There were no phone calls. There were no messages. But of course, when you're going out there to the shop, I could come across people asking questions. Like I remember one person I met among the many, and this person was like, "What could have led your husband to die by suicide?" And he went ahead to tell me the reason why men die is on two things. It's either they had another wife or another family, and the other thing, they could have been HIV positive, or number three, they could maybe having some debts. So I told him my husband had no debts. The issue of another wife, I was pretty sure because that person would have come during the burial preparation to stop and everything. So I said those ones. And then he said, then the last option could be your husband was HIV positive and he could have infected you.
Hey.
So he told me, he's a doctor, he told me, I would urge you to go for checkup so that you begin medication early.
Wow.
You can imagine. Now that is a bombshell that has been dropped. And then the devil has a way of preaching to you and he's like, you see the way you're having, these illnesses, because that time when death happens, the body now starts behaving in a funny way. You could have some headaches, you can have some, the body aches are there. And I felt like, I think this could be. So I decided to go for checkups, and I went for several checkups until the doctor one day asked me, when I look at your file, like every time you come in here, like almost every week, because this week I would be having a headache, the next week my menses had changed. So, because of the shock, there is that now they become irregular. I'm not able now to concentrate. And I said, this could be. So I just wanted to go and try to answer the question, why? Why did he do it? Because he had left a note, and in the note he had said that no one is supposed to ask me or to blame me for what he has done. He had said that in that note, he had said Priscilla is not supposed to be blamed by anyone because she's not responsible. for what I've done. So now my question was, then what was it?
What was the reason?
Then what was it? So I knew then it could have been him. Maybe it was his own issues, and there was nothing. The doctor told me, you're very clean, your health records are okay. And so we continued, and of course now I got like, I felt like rejected, because the friends that I thought were, were my friends, they stopped visiting. They stopped coming to our home. They stopped even checking on us. There are times I used to look at my phone and I just wanted, I wished someone would just call me and ask, how are you people doing? That is the only thing I wanted. It's not like I wanted people to come and bring food or this other support. I just wanted someone to call and ask me, did you even sleep? Because I couldn't sleep. For I think almost 2 years, I was not able to sleep. My sleeping patterns had changed because a lot was happening. Remember, there's the issue of the in-laws. Remember, the society, the neighbors are there. Remember, the church. And when I talk of the church, I'm talking of me and you, because that is what makes the church. And all these people, they were there, and everybody was like, the husband, we know him, he was a very humble man. So it could be Priscilla. You could have been doing something to this man. And that was it. So we stayed for many months without the support of all these people.
Yeah.
And it was not easy. It was not easy. But of course, God gave us a few, 1 or 2 people who walked with us.
Yeah.
At least them they could call. Even if not often, they could call, they could visit, they could just ask whether there's a pastor in Thika Deliverance Church, and he would just pop in. He would come and say, I'm around, I want to come and check on you people. At night, he would come with the wife, and it was awesome for us.
Yeah, God somehow just provided. But you've said something so profound, because most of the time people are present until the burial. And after the burial, oh my, we never think of that.
Yeah.
It's like we are done with it, but we forget that these people are still dealing with the aftermath of the pain. And I think you've brought that out, and I think even the people watching can pick from that. It's not enough to just say, my condolences after you receive the news. It's important to, in fact, follow up and see how the person is coping and doing.
Yeah.
And I would love to ask, are there stages to grieving that you can break down for us? And how can people even know where they are?
Well, yes, there are stages, or rather we call them the grieving process. And the grief process varies. At first, what happens when we get to here, or rather, let me first say that we have different types of losses.
Yeah.
We have anticipated loss. Anticipated loss is the loss that we anticipate, especially when someone is very sick.
Yeah.
And we keep seeing, maybe the doctors have told you, please take this person home. There's nothing more we can do. And now the only thing you can do is to take them home and wait for them to die. So every now and then you're checking on them. Then there is, of course, another loss of when people have divorced. It is also a loss, or rather when some people have separated. All those are losses.
Yeah.
And we also have other losses that people don't look at them as loss, especially when a relationship is lost. Maybe you are in a relationship and then things go south.
Yeah.
But today, because of the purposes why we are here, we are talking about death, because death is also categorized in that. And remember, I've talked about suicide, which is categorized as a special law, a special death, because of the nature of stigma and circumstances that surround it with. And when someone dies, when we get to hear the news, there is the shock.
Yeah.
And in every stage, it comes with some emotions. That's why you see people behaving funny, others go quiet. So and others scream, So when we get to hear that somebody has died, there is the initial stage, which is the shock. And in this shock, if there are no people around, or people can even get the heart attacks. You are told, I know maybe you've heard, or our viewers have heard of people that received news and they got shocked and they died as well. And then people get into another stage that is called denial, saying that it cannot happen. I don't believe my husband is dead. I can't believe my wife is dead. And in this, they try to wake them up. They try to wake them and call them, telling them, you cannot die, you cannot leave me. That is the denial stage. And then, and you can even find people refusing these people to be taken to the morgue because they don't want them. They don't want this person to be taken because in them they believe this person is still alive. They cannot die. And then after that, we may find somebody getting also into a bargaining stage. When people go maybe to the hospital, somebody has died, and people say that it is the doctor's neglect that has caused the death. I wish we had not taken this person to this and this hospital. Or people say, I wish my daughter was not married in this home. Or my husband or my son never married this woman. So all these are bargaining stages. And the if, I wish, we wish we had money, we would have taken this person to India. And then there is now the stage that people don't really understand. And this is the stage where things go silent. It is the depression stage. Now that is the fourth stage. And the depression stage is a stage that is that can do a lot of harm. Because in this stage, and I believe that I was there with my children. We were there a million times with my children. This depression stage is a stage where somebody feels isolated, they feel rejected, they feel like the world has crashed on them because all these things, I felt them. And people feel like they don't even want to talk to God. They don't want to go to hear anything about God. They stop going even to church. The things they used to enjoy doing. Some people even stop working, because their bodies cannot even drag it can't even drag your body from the bed to go to work. I remember there are many times I never wanted to see the sun. So I would sleep, and in the morning I would be so angry that there is light and I have to wake up. And I would feel like I wish it would have continued to be dark. I wanted everything to be dark. I would cover my head from the head to toe because that is what I wanted. I never wanted to see the light. Now that was the depression stage. And during all these stages, I've said that the body can react very differently. Sometimes you may find the people becoming very sick all of a sudden. And maybe you find people having blood pressure that was not there. And even people engaging in other behaviors. And because they are trying to fill that void or that gap, you find people going to drink or getting into drugs. And others also get to engage in those antisocial behaviors because they are feeling they want to do something that is going to make them feel better. And then after that depression stage is a stage that people take in a lot of time. People take a lot of time in there. And then that is where now people start saying, oh, tangu afiwe, these people, she doesn't want to talk to people. It is not that she doesn't want to talk to people or he doesn't want to talk to people. It is the situations surrounding these people that are so hurting. The burden is too heavy. They don't even feel like they want to drag, to see anyone. Sometimes you call, they don't want to pick the phones, and you say, hata achukuangi simu za watu. No, that is not the case. It is the pain that they are going through. And this pain is so real because the same way the death is real, it is the same way that pain. And it is unfortunate that when people are going through the depression, the pain does not show on the face. You see people walking and smiling, but inside they are crashing. And then there is also the other last stage that is called acceptance. Now, in the acceptance stage, this is where you will hear people saying, I accept, if maybe they are Christians or even Muslims or whatever faith they profess, you'll find people saying, yes, it is the will of God that that person had to die. They start saying God had started showing me, God had spoken to me, had shown me a vision, all these things. But there is something very important I want to say here. The process of grief, it does not work like you don't move from stage 1 to 2 to 3. Sometimes you may be having all those stages together. You may find somebody has died right now, and people are saying, well, he has died because he had suffered. Let him go and rest. He had suffered a lot. That is maybe even barely 20 minutes after death. But again, it is also a roller coaster of emotions. Sometimes you are here, the other day you are up, you are here, today you are in acceptance, tomorrow you are in bargaining. Like for me, I went through the bargaining for a very, very long time. That is also where I got stuck for quite a number of time, because I was like, this person, I got married to him when I was very young, because we had almost around 8 or 7 years difference. And now he has died. He has left me with the children. What am I supposed to do with them? You see that bargaining, and there is also that bit of hating that person and hating everything, even the day that I got married. All these things come during the grief process. And when people now around you listen to you, you may hear them saying that, this one has backslidden. And I'm saying that in the morning you can wake up and find yourself at acceptance stage. Then at 10 o'clock, you are in shock. You are in bargaining. You are in denial. And I stayed with, there are things I stayed with in my house for a long time. Of course, there are some clothes. I used to buy him some, clothes. And there are shirts I never wanted to part with. I used to say, these are his. And I used to see them on the wardrobe, and I would feel like he's still there. That bargaining, I don't know, I am still in denial. And the process can take long. And again, people don't grieve the same way. We could be having, maybe even if it is a mother who has died and you are 10 children, but you don't grieve the same. So in my case, my children also somehow, no one was understanding one another, because my son would cry and he's in his bedroom, he doesn't want to come out. The other one doesn't want to come out. I'm also in the bedroom, I don't want to come up. I mean to come out and, even have breakfast. And we are all there processing our emotions, and nobody wants to wake up. And I'm telling you, it was not a very easy moment for us. And during now, let me say about 2 years, we were there struggling with emotions, with pain. We don't want to go to church. And anytime I would switch on a television and see a preacher preaching, I would ask God, where is the grace that this man was preaching? Where was that grace that day? That the same grace he was preaching never protected him. I mean, why couldn't the rods just break when he was trying to hang himself? These are the questions. Still, it is in the bargaining. I was very, very angry with God. I remember one morning we were having breakfast and I told my children, God loves us. Because I would still feel that God loves us, but I was not very sure, because he allowed all this to happen. So my sons, the youngest, asked me, are you sure? You can imagine, And then I'm seated there and I'm telling them, yes, God loves us. And he's like, uko sure, mom?
Oh.
Of course, that one throws you back again to anger and asking myself, God, you see the questions now the children are asking. And it is only by the grace of God that these children got to a point of healing and knowing that God still loves us because he has proved very faithful. They have seen him. Sometimes I see them, sending me messages about God, and I'm like, oh God, I thank you.
Yeah. God has worked on their hearts.
Imagine. He's
Oh
a
my
faithful God.
goodness. Oh, that's very deep, because I'm just reminded even of the story of Job. After he lost everything at that moment and still continued to worship. And even the Bible saying that he did not charge God with wrongdoing. I saw that verse and I was like, wow, it's one of the most difficult things not to blame God.
Yeah.
Because you're like, God, if you're all loving and all powerful, you could have done something.
Yeah.
You feel like something could have been done. Like, if God, I was in your position, this is what I would do.
Exactly.
Oh, it's a difficult journey. And I think now we can talk about some of the lessons you picked from that, because now there's some of the things along the way in those stages of grieving. And even I love that you've mentioned that sometimes it's a mixture of all these things happening at the same time. But what would you say are the lessons you would pick from your grieving process, and what you would tell the people so that they don't maybe remain stuck? And how can they also embrace what they're going through and not be afraid to mourn, and allow the process to get to its end?
Wow. One of the lessons that I learned is that death is real.
Yeah.
And pain is real. And I also picked another lesson that life goes on after death. There is life after death. I also realized that there are three things that can only happen or need to happen when death of a spouse has happened. One has to cry. And in this case, I'm talking also to men. Because from the upbringing that we are, or the African culture, we are told that men don't cry. But men also cry. So there is the issue of crying, healing, and moving on. Those are the lessons that pushed me to where I am today. That I'd have to cry, then I need to heal. And healing is a journey.
Yeah.
Healing is not something that takes 2 years or 10 years. I have met women in my counseling, sessions that their husband died 40 years ago, and they still talk of them as if they died yesterday. And then the moving on is where now everything points at. So these lessons I've learned that there is life after death. Yes, we cannot continue to get stuck. And especially when we talk to maybe about women, women have the tendency of saying that, they will first take care of their children before they maybe think of a relationship if they wish to, because it is also a choice. Remember, moving on is a choice. You have to choose to move on, because you can decide to stay in that cocoon or in that valley that, now my husband has died, I am not never going to enjoy life again. There's a lot to be enjoyed, and life is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. So the issue of moving on is probably where now we need to ask ourselves, how do we move on? What do we do after the death has happened? First of all, the most important thing is to sit down and go back to the drawing board. There are a lot of adjustments that needs to be done. In this case, not only to the wife or to the spouse, to the man that has been left, but also to the children. If this man was the breadwinner and the children are here, there's a likelihood that you may have to change the schools. You may have to, change even the house that you are living. Because maybe if the house is 20,000 and your income is not able to support that, sometimes it is, I tell people, there is need to readjust, to sit down and restructure your life now alone. Remember, this time you are two, but now you are alone. You need to sit down and have a meeting with you, yourself, and yourself again. You be there, the minute taker, and you be the secretary of that minute, and the chairman and everything, because we will come and advise you and tell you, you need to do A, B, C, D. But is that what you are able to do? We want to encourage people to sit down and restructure, to put down in writing as well, to even do journaling and write something that is going to be applicable to them. Because after the losses, what is applicable to me is not what is applicable to you. So if I tell you to do my way, things you are my way, they may not work for you. So you need to sit down in your own capacity and ask yourself, what do I need to change? Because when death happens, everything changes. Even the way you walk, the way you sleep, the way you eat, the way you socialize with people, everything changes. Everything changes. So there is need to go back to the drawing board and restructure again and start afresh. And this time round, if there are children in this home, don't leave them. Sit down with them. And there's also something I almost forgot, things about children. We come and talk to the women or to the man, and we forget the children. The children need to be part and parcel of the grieving process.
Right.
Even if they are 2-3 years, let them understand that daddy is not coming back. And there is an issue we keep telling children, daddy alienda kwa Mungu. Daddy alienda kwa Mungu. And then, now the suffering, or rather the issues that surround, these children keep asking, how can the God be this bad? He took our daddy to stay with him, and then we are suffering.
That's tough.
If I would be asked, I would say that let's tell the children that daddy died. And when somebody died, they can't talk, they can't come back to us again. If they are in that level, even if they are teenagers, let them know that things are going to change. And let them know there are things we used to enjoy. Like now my husband used to go to the slaughterhouse with the boys, and they would buy meat because my children love meat. And he would buy meat, and in plenty, he would put it there in the fridge. But after that, even having a meal was a struggle. So you can imagine if we don't prepare the children. I had to sit my children down. I had to tell them, we will be having that meat, but we may not be able to buy the 4 kgs. We'll be buying, even if we buy the meat for 100 shillings, when we get money, that will still be okay. But we are trusting God that by and by, He will take us there. He will take us there.
Yeah.
So that even the children are able also to adjust.
Yeah.
To sit down and know. So if mommy has come today with a 1/4 kg of meat, it's because mommy cannot afford, because daddy is not there.
Yeah.
You see? And that one helped my children to cope. We were able to move together. So when I talk about the moving on, sometimes even the boundaries are also important. Remember when you were with your husband, you could be called, you could go and maybe donate money. This time round, you are just alone. You may not be able to, to donate that much money. You can only maybe be able to donate maybe 300 shillings. And that is okay. So there are a lot of boundaries. We have the spiritual boundaries that are very important. There is also the emotional boundaries. We have the social boundaries. That all these financial boundaries, you need to know that I am alone. What do I need to do? How do I spend my money? What do I do in this life again? The way you dress, the way you eat, everything. You have to go back to the drawing board and sit down and ask yourself, how do I move on? And then the question that also always comes, like many people are telling me, now because you have children, you don't need to ever think of getting married again. And then I'm like, okay, but you have your husband, and these children will grow up and leave me. Then what next? And I said that I'm not going to, keep pressuring you and saying yes. And I kept saying that, well, I'll see about it. I'll listen to what God says. If God brings me a good man, I'll get married.
Why not?
That is what I used to tell them. And I'm still saying that even today.
Oh my goodness, your resilience and strength can only come from God.
Only from God.
We are never really strong to handle the pain that life sometimes can throw at us.
Exactly.
It's not about our strength. And we can never, by the way, blame ourselves for how we handled it, because we do not know, what even that did to us. Especially with your story. I mean, there was no closure.
There was no closure.
Oh, the lack of closure, it's painful.
It was very painful.
Yeah, because those sudden deaths,
imagine,
maybe through accident, and worse still, suicide. It's on another level.
It is.
And you don't even know why. So it's a combination of so many things that really held you back, that no one can come and compare their story with yours.
Yeah.
They cannot say, even me, I lost, so and so, and you see I'm good, you should also be good. No, and I think I would want you to talk about that indeed we have all different ways of grieving, and it's okay for us to extend grace to ourselves. Talk about the importance of also extending grace to ourselves, no matter the many voices that are around us, because you that is wearing the shoe, you're the one who knows where it's paining you, So maybe talk about that, extending grace to self, and why it's important for us to know that we all have different journeys.
Thank you. Yes, we all have different journeys, and there's something I also want to add. That we never get over death of our loved ones. We learn to live without them. We learn to live without the people we loved.
Yeah.
And one of the verses that really helped me is the verse that is found in the book of Deuteronomy 29:29 that says, the hidden things belongs to God, our God. But those that he has revealed to us are ours and our children.
Wow.
I think that verse helped me to find closure, because I realized no matter how much I tried to answer the question why? He was never coming back to tell me why he did it. Yes, he did the note, but he never told me why he did it, and he will never come to tell me anyway. So death is read. And I started the journey of, loving myself, self-love, knowing that, yes, this is something I could not have stopped. Number two, I learned also to forgive. The issue of forgiveness when something like this happened. Remember, there are so many people around you who have messed you up. And the only thing you can do as part of self-care and self-love is forgiveness. It is never an easy topic, forgiveness. But if you don't forgive, it's like taking poison because of your enemies and expecting them to die. So you stay with the poison in your body, and then eventually you're the one who will die. And remember, unforgiveness kills Christians, many Christians, and even non-believers. It kills them from inside. It destroys their future. It destroys their destiny. If you walk with that pain, and it is the moment I decided to forgive people, that is when my journey of healing began. My children as well. We had a very beautiful reconciliation session with my in-laws. And I mean, it was only about forgiveness. So once you choose to forgive, and remember, there are people who will never come to ask for forgiveness. Because in my journey, there are people who have never come. But I chose to forgive them. Sometimes I would write their names when I'm praying, and I would still forgive them. And I would tell God, this I have forgiven because of A, B, C, D, and because of A, B, C, D. And that is the moment that you start loving yourself, and you start moving on, because there is something that you must do as an individual to work on your healing journey. It is, yes, the counselor will come. Even when you go for counseling, the counselor will come and help you to process the grief. But it is your choice that you'll have to make to move on. And to say, yes, I cannot bring this person back. I cannot undo the words that were said by my in-laws or by my friends or the church or the society or my neighbors. But I choose to forgive. I choose to forgive. And this is what has brought me, this far. The grace of God, that forgiveness, choosing to forgive, even the ones that you think they don't deserve that forgiveness, just forgive. That one helps a lot for you to be able to stand again. And when you moving on, sometimes you have to crawl. You have to do those baby steps. You see the way the baby steps, and the baby starts standing and walking and trying to, all that. Eventually they walk. So all these factors, let's learn to love ourselves. Self-love.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Affirming yourself that you are important. Affirming yourself that you matter. Because there is life after death. And there is hope. Remember, we'll never get over the death of our loved ones. Even when generations comes, we'll still be telling them, and I heard your grandfather, your great-grandfather. They will know that their great-grandfather died by suicide. So death will never, get over these deaths. But what next? We always remember that death is final. And the hidden things belongs to God. So once he has revealed, like for example, somebody has died of cancer or of an accident, that is a revelation. So you already know what killed them.
Yeah.
But when suicide happens, what?
You don't know.
You don't know the reason. And then they do a note. It is not you, and they have not given the reason. So what next? What
Wow. Oof, that's on another level. And, I love the fact that the word of the Lord gave you the closure that
Yeah.
you needed. Because sometimes it can be hard to wrestle with why do we have to go through these things. We would want life to be smooth, for everything to go on well. But then Jesus said that in this life, we will face these trials and tribulations. But the problem comes in when you're facing them. It's like it's real on another level that when somebody else tells you, you're like, you don't get it.
Yeah, you don't get it.
In that moment, you're in the thick of it. It's very hard.
It is very, very hard.
Yeah, and I think because I'm being told time is not on our side,
it is not.
I would love for you to just talk to someone whose relationship with God has been destroyed because they are blaming God. What Job say, charging God with wrongdoing. That God, you did me wrong. And yet we know the character of God. Wrestling with that sometimes is difficult. And maybe someone has had their relationship with God destroyed completely. They don't even know how to go back to God because they feel like, I don't think I am serving a loving God. What would you tell them from your experience, from what you went through, and even also wrestling with such thoughts, even with your children, and now even testifying that it is because of God that you're where you are. So maybe talk to that person.
Well, what I would say is that God still remains God. Even when we go through trials, when death happens, when pain comes, when sickness comes, God does not change. He's the great I am, and he still remains God. And what I would tell people is that let's hold on to our faith. Let's seek support.
Yeah.
When we seek support, maybe counseling support or spiritual support, maybe from someone you can trust, this one will help you to move to the next step of, building your trust in God again. Because we cannot do it without God.
Yeah.
Because the air we breathe, the God who has made you not to die, is the same God that took him or took her away. So there are things that we cannot change. As I said again, the hidden things belongs to God. We have things that are beyond us. And in as much as we remain in that pain, we will not be able to move. A lot of things are going to fall apart. Remember, life has to go on, and it cannot go on without God. Even that eating, that sleeping, you depend it on God. Remember, there is a verse that says that about sleep, that God gives sleep to those to those he loves. So for you to get that sleep, it is still God who will give it. Even if you go to get some sleeping pills or whatever, it is still God who will give you that sleep. So I would say, in very simple terms, let us not give up on God, because God will never ever give up on us.
That's beautiful.
He still remains God.
Yeah.
He's a loving God, and even as he tells us that he loves us with an unending love. His love is pure and it is eternal. So it doesn't matter what you are going through. It doesn't matter how much you have lost. But just know that God remains God. He's God by himself. That is a lesson that I had to learn in a very difficult way. There are many times I've repented because of quarreling God, because of blaming God. Many times I quarreled him, but I had to go back and tell God, I have come because you still know my future. And my tomorrow must be greater than today. Don't allow pain to define your life. Don't allow death to define how you live after this. Allow God.
Oof, that's really powerful. I'm like, we just need to sit and absorb all that in, because it's really deep. It's so deep.
Yeah,
I mean,
is.
Paul said that nothing can separate us from the love of God.
Love of God, yeah.
Even hardship, even pain, it cannot separate us from the love of God. And God is still God, and he is still good, even when the situation is not good.
He's still good. He's still good.
He's still a good God. And I think you have really helped to free some people at this moment and to get them to that place of feeling now unstuck. Because I was just hearing in my spirit that so many people have packed at that place and they're stuck in that place, especially when it comes to their relationship with God being, severed because of what they've gone through. It keeps you stuck because the one person who can remove you from that place, you cannot even pray to him. So that means that today, I believe, has been a day of healing to so many people. How can people reach you and interact with you?
Well, as I said, I'm a counseling psychologist and I'm also a certified mediator. If you would want to reach out to me, my contacts are 0727 99 4885. And if you allow me to say something, please, if you're calling, just call to seek support and not financial support.
It's good to put that disclaimer.
It's a boundary.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Because I've given my number elsewhere and I know what happens. Ninunulie kaunga, nataka tuonane, naweza kuwa mpenzi wako.
Okay.
Yeah.
That disclaimer needs to be taken with seriousness, people.
Sure.
But thank you so much, Priscilla. God bless you for coming through, for sharing your life with us, for opening the books and the chapters of your life to us, and using, in fact, your scars to heal others.
Yes.
And I know that many who have been watching have been encouraged and also just inspired to know that they can be unstuck. They can move on because God is still at work. I love when you say that life moves on even after death. And so that means that the Lord is the one holding your future. And indeed, your tomorrow shall be greater than today. Oh, that's a good way to sum it all up. So, wacha tuseme kwa heri. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in this day. And my name is Beatrice Nudi. Tomorrow, I'm going to be bringing Wonder Faith, an amazing musician, on Beyond the Melody. We are going to be sitting down with her, hearing from her story, the stories behind her beautiful music and worship. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And if you know someone who needs this episode, would you please share this link with them? You know them, you know people who are struggling in this area of grief. Please do share this link and help another person. Do have yourselves a lovely day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.